Hey guys, sorry I'm not here today. Doctor's appointments. So here's your bell work. Take a couple minutes, pause the video, get your bell work done. Don't worry about stamps. We'll take care of it next class. But yeah, take a couple seconds there. Okay, get out 3.5. We're going to finish up Unit 3 today. Your test is going to be on 10/22. Sorry, I had to look at my calendar. You've taken your vocab quiz. 3.1 to 3.3 have been locked because they were in quarter one. So you need to make sure 3.4 is done by the end of today. And this assignment, 3.5. So those are your only worries. Everything else is gone at this point. We've done, linear equations. We've done variables on both sides. We've done literal equations where there was a bunch of letters. We've done exponential equations where there's exponents. And now our last thing is absolute value equations. So let's recap absolute value. Absolute value is the distance numbers from 0. So we're going to say distance from 0. And maybe in class, I've done this in your class, but we've talked about how you can walk backwards, but that doesn't make the distance negative. That means you walked 5 feet the other way. So distance can't be negative. If I haven't done that in your class, imagine that. Walking forward and then walking backward. Walking backward is still walking, you're still going a certain amount of a length. And it's not like you're going negative, it's not like you're taking steps back, taking steps away. You are just walking backwards. So absolute value is, you always make it positive. At the absolute value of 5, that means 5 is 5 steps from 0. Negative 145 is 145 steps from 0. 56 is 56 steps from 0. So because the absolute value is the distance from 0, there are always 2 numbers with that absolute value. So this is my starting point, right? For example, here's what I'm trying to get to. You're going to start seeing questions where you're finding the absolute value of x, not the absolute value of 5 or negative 145. The absolute value of something that you don't know. And all you know is that it spits out 6. Well, I would immediately go, 6 is 6 steps from 6. But I can go the other way too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 6 is also 6 steps from 0. So I can get 2 answers every time I have something like this. They get a little bit more complicated than that, but everything else is we're used to. We're used to solving for x. But we need to understand that we can have 2 answers now, the negative answer and the positive answer, because negative 6 and 6 can both be x. So here's your problem. Step 1 is use inverse operations to isolate the absolute value expression. Here's what I like to do in my brain. I like to think that this is x. So if I were to say this, I'd go 2x minus 9 equals 7. Your goal is to get x by itself. Your goal is to get this by itself. So we're going to do what we always do. If your equation looked like this, you would add 9 to both sides. And you get 16 equals 2 times 4y minus 8 in the absolute value bars. And then once that would be gone, you would divide by 2. Well, let's do it. So you're used to this. It just looks a little funnier. So absolute value bars are staying for just a second longer. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So here's where this part that we talked about comes in. I know that all of this stuff, we're going to highlight it. Just get your highlighter out. Highlight it for me. All that stuff equals 8. Like 8 is what it spits out. The same way that absolute value of x here spit out 6. Well, that means that everything in here can equal positive 8. So we're going to write that. And the negative version. So I always like to draw like my branches. Here's your step 2. This is what I'm doing right now. Rewrite your expression twice. Set one of them equal to the number, that's 8, and then set the other one equal to the negative number. So, for the same reason that the absolute value of x equals 6 could be positive 6 or negative 6. That's what we're accounting for. That's the only thing that changed. All this stuff equals positive 8 or all this stuff equals negative 8. I don't know exactly. That's the whole thing with absolute value. What it spits out is the distance. All of this is 8 steps from 0. Well, it could be 8 steps to the left or it could be 8 steps to the right. Once I've split my equation up into 2, then I just solve each equation separately. So I can do plus 8 on both sides. This is our normal stuff. Divide by 4 on both sides. There's one of my answers. And then fun fact, the steps are always going to be the same, so I'm always going to add 8, and then I'm always going to divide 4, like twice. I'm always going to do whatever it is twice. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Anything that equals 0, I know that, well, 0 divided by 4 is going to be 0. Like that. So notice it wasn't like 4 and negative 4. Okay, your numbers can be different. But you're going to get 2 of them every single time. So in Delta Math, you would say y equals 4, and then you'd add a solution. I think there's a button that says add solution. And then you'd put the other one, which is y equals 0. Okay, let's look at a fresh problem. Make sure you have what I have. But let's look at a fresh problem. Okay. Solve for all values of x. So, first step is get this alone. So right now I have 6 minus x, or 6 minus my absolute value piece. So that's positive 6, secret positive, so that's my ghost, and I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. We're going to move up here so that I've got room. That goes away, and I'm left with negative absolute value of 5x plus 6 equals, not 4. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. And then I can either say to myself, well, if it's negative on the outside here and it's negative on the outside here, I can make them both positive. Or the reason we can do that is that's a secret 1. And I can divide by negative 1 on both sides. That was negative before. That's why I moved it back. And then I make that go away. And 2 divided by 1 is 2. So whichever way you want to do that, how fast, like how it helps your brain. But I've got absolute value of 5x plus 6 equals 2. And that means all that stuff can equal either 2 or negative 2, because I can go 2 steps to the right or 2 steps to the left. So I split it up, and I'm actually going to write it further over here. I've got 5x plus 6 equals positive 2. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Divide by 5 on both sides, and I get x equals negative 4/5. And that's totally fine. I can absolutely get fractions. So I can come down here and I'd be like, -4/5, and you see this little plus sign. That means add solution. You'll click that, and we'll continue. 5x plus 6 can also equal -2, because absolute value can go both ways. So subtract 6, and I get -8 equals 5x. Divide by 5 on both sides. Not -5, 5. And x equals, put down your calculator, that will simplify to -8/5. Okay, so those are my two answers. Because I'll draw my little number line. Let's go over this one more time. When I say that absolute value of all that stuff equals 2, I mean that all that stuff can be 2 steps from 0. So that's +2 and -2. And the way we do this, the way we account for that, is we write two different equations where one equals +2 and one equals -2. Let's do it one more time, and then you'll do the last one on your own. Get this piece alone. Remember, it's x. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I get 2 times my absolute value equals 22. Then I divide by 2 on both sides because I'm trying to get this piece by itself. It currently still has the absolute value bars on it because I have not accounted for the positive and the negative. So once I do that, I can take the absolute value bars off. There's 1. There's 2. +11 and -11. Now solve. And then I divide by 2. X equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. Notice they're the same steps. Just now I'm going to get a different answer because instead of +11, I have -11. Divide by 2. X equals -4 divided by 2 is -2. There's my two answers. Okay. Take a couple minutes for yourself and try this one out. Notice it's a secret +1, so I don't have to do anything. I don't have to divide anything before I can split up my equations. Subtract 2, split your equations up, solve. Try it out. I'll give the answers once you unpause the video. All right, there's my work. Those are my answers. Try it out on the homework. Watch the Delta Math videos. I will be back next week. We will talk about it, okay? You guys have a great day.